本節目內主持人及嘉賓的言論純屬個人意見，並不代表本台立場。
Hi, welcome to Boiling Point.
We're happy today because we've got a desk to hide our bellies.
Yep, and yes, after last week's show, I was blocked by a hot dog.
That's kind of expected, right?
Yeah, but you know, I think that show was very fair overall. I mean, you were just speaking facts, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, because since they have established that what reconnaissance team or whatever it is, I don't think they've done anything.
Okay, well, for this show, today's show, I don't think we have a lot of. Well, we have a lot of things to talk about,
right?
And nothing really to concentrate on too much because. I don't think there's been any big thing to discuss. One of the things I saw that I thought was interesting was Apple Daily's use of Pepe the Frog in their graphics. Operator, can you please show pick 5?
Oh shit!
I'm pretty sure those are Pepe heads. All right. This story, by the way.
Yeah, all Pepe heads.
This story, by the way, has got nothing to do with frogs or Pepe. It was just about a family who were being paid to smuggle gold to Japan, and the gold is
gold bars. Not just gold. It's like
gold bars. Yeah. But anyway, the story isn't important. The point is, it's funny to see Apple Daily using Pepe the Frog in its graphics. And actually, this isn't the first time. It's the first time that I kind of captured it. But I think about a week ago, I saw a similar, totally, irrelevant use of Pepe the Frog in the graphics of Apple Daily. Now, I just wonder what Apple Daily is using Pepe the Frog as.
What does it stand for anyway, to you?
Well, I thought it basically means nationalism, ethnicism, and I think, it became very.
I've seen people using that, like maybe in the States or.
Yeah, I think it was associated with the people who were online and were supporting Trump against Hillary Clinton. Operator, that's enough of that pick. But I think and other interesting thing is that at Chinese University earlier this year, they had their election for the student union, and there was actually only one candidate or one candidate cabinet, and I remember looking through their manifesto or whatever, their brochure, and it had a Pepe the Frog thing in it, and I said I asked the.
So did they ask them like, what is this about?
Yeah, I asked, what's this about, and the person she's in the student union. She said to me, it's just for fun.
It's just for fun.
Yeah. And
there's a lot more behind that, I think.
Yeah, she probably could have told me a bit more. I mean, how do you see Pepe the Frog as a symbol in the Hong Kong Facebook world? I mean,
well, first off, Ray Wong is using that.
Yes, Ray Wong used to have it in his profile photo,
he's replaced his own face with that and put it up as a profile picture, I think.
Yeah, and the thing about Hong Kong indigenous is they're kind of like Hong Kong nationalists, right?
Yep.
And basically meaning that they believe, in Hong Kong nation and the Hong Kong nation not being Chinese. So I think for them, for say Hong Kong Indigenous, it's a symbol of Hong Kong ethnicity, Hong Kong nation, Hong Kong nationalism, and not being Chinese.
And also there's this, they're associating that with the meaning of an idiom in Hong Kong, which states the situation of Hong Kong people like being slowly boiled, like
right.
frogs.
Yeah.
Without realizing that, well, we're fucked.
That's right. There's another kind of frog cartoon that regularly shows up in my Facebook.
Yep.
And I think that is precisely.
That's more sarcasm than actually anything that's strongly fighting back or
yeah.
I don't know. I don't pay much attention to those because it's not radical enough.
Okay, but I think it's interesting that Apple Daily is using this is Pepe Frog, and to me that might suggest that, I mean, Apple Daily has a reputation, right, in Hong Kong for being having a certain bias. People suspected of being close to the US or the CIA, all that type of stuff.
More like the CIA and the US Democrats.
Right, okay. So here we have like a newspaper suspected of being close to the CIA and the Democrats using Pepe the Frog in its...
Maybe that's some kind of vengeance, because we have known that, we've already known that Lai Ching is not receiving any more financial support from the Democratic parties, and then maybe that's he has to sell his business.
But would it actually be from the Democratic Party? Wouldn't it be like more likely from?
No. Because you think just a look at the how they made news about the U.S. presidential election.
How did they do it? What was
they're all pro Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And whenever it comes to Trump, they're like all negative and stuff.
But that's just because the Democrats are still like employed by the government. I mean, so I don't think it's like the Democratic Party would say have influence over the Apple Daily. It's just like the US government and whoever's in power in the US government. And at the moment, we know that there's still a lot of Obama people in the US government. So anyway.
Well, you decide.
Anyway, so Apple Daily, I think it's funny that they're using Pepe. But I think basically they're trying to appeal to young people who are basically, as we know, don't feel Chinese. They believe in Hong Kong nationalism, Hong Kong nation.
I think nowadays, if you're doing media, if you still want to be successful, you have to go into the world of the youngsters. Yeah. Especially when it comes to memes. Yeah. You have to understand all these memes in order to communicate.
But in the US, they
started a meme war. I think
the left-wing people say Pepe is a symbol of hate, and I guess what they mean by that is
it's funny that people who are so full of hatred accusing people using symbols of hate. I mean, you look at all these, feminism, those people demonstrating everywhere, yelling without wearing clothes. I mean, what's the hate about?
But it's funny, isn't it? It's kind of it's a contradiction.
It's definitely funny.
It's hypocrisy. If a Pepe is a hate symbol in the US, but in Hong Kong it's a symbol of resistance against China.
That I'm not quite certain yet, because I think it still has to gain more popularity.
Okay,
in order to become a symbol.
Well, moving on, but on a related topic, operator, can you please show pic 6? There was a story by Bloomberg about government, including Western governments, manipulating Facebook and Twitter. And to be honest, I think there's a hell of a lot of kind of government or US or British propaganda on Twitter and Facebook about Hong Kong.
I think it's everywhere around the world. I mean, not just in the US.
Concerning Hong Kong. Concerning Hong Kong news, concerning Hong Kong politics, concerning Hong Kong protests. I think there's a lot of effort made to try and control the narrative.
Yep, especially when even in those websites discussing politics around the world. There are always people saying that Hong Kong people should be doing it in a more peaceful way in order to gain the moral high ground.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, but yeah. But I'm talking about my personal experience. Like, I used to use Twitter, but I just stopped using Twitter because it's just totally dominated by these types of what I call like militia propaganda, a militia of propaganda.
It's like an army in the cyber world,
and they're not like properly trained CIA people getting paid by the CIA. They're just like doing grunt work, right? Doing low level kind of propaganda that just kind of floods the
like the 50 cents.
It's really exactly the same thing as 50 cents.
50 cents
it's pro
Communist China,
anti-China. So it's very hypocritical of the Western media to always be,
it's kind of inevitable because if your opponent, let's say in this case maybe Communist China, if they are manipulating the public opinion with all those, if you don't do the very same or something similar.
Really? You think it's okay because the others are doing it too?
I think it's okay because it depends on who you're fighting with.
I mean, for someone who's like wants to get the truth, I think that's enough of that pick. Thanks, operator.
可以收埋張圖啦，唔該。
If we just want to get to the truth, it makes it so much harder to get to the truth when you have all this propaganda, not only by China but also by the West.
Well, it depends on how often they're doing that.
All the time, flooding Twitter with it. So I left Twitter. It's no wonder Twitter's like...
I don't even have a Twitter account.
But Facebook is different. I don't think these types of government propaganda trolls can be successful on Facebook the way they're successful on Twitter. Because I think on Facebook... You usually got to know someone a bit more.
Yeah, and I think Facebook is kind of sneaky when it comes to because come on, their business actually. You have to pay them. You have to pay them to get your message through.
To a certain extent, yeah. But I mean, not ordinary users unless they want to, sponsor their posts.
Yeah, so it's basically everywhere. You cannot avoid that, except that you can, read those stuff with an open mind. You have to decide whether it's a fact or not.
It bothers me because actually some of the people who I know, who I didn't, when I first knew, I didn't think they were like paid propaganda trolls, but now I think they are. I won't mention names, but I mean, I think...
I know where is this leading to.
I won't mention names, but I mean, yeah, there's certainly people who I think are like part of a propaganda militia, and they're very anti-Trump, and they're very anti-China. But I thought ordinary people when I met them in Occupy or at the Reclaim Guangfuk protests in the first half of 2015. But a few years later, now I'm much more wary of all the.
That's because you're right about one thing, because Trump is basically leading the mass to fight against the elite.
That's right. It's basically the U.S. election was like the French Revolution except without blood. It was the masses, overthrowing the elites.
George Soros, everyone, Rothschilds maybe.
You know, an interesting thing about that is like you had all these bottom-up kind of Facebook-enabled revolutions in the Arab world, like Egypt and Tunisia and a few other places. But now it's also happening in the West and in Hong Kong, because when you think about it, as localism has, you know, taken off in Hong Kong because of Facebook, and it's actually defeated those old media, Hong Kong Alliance, Jilian Wei, Democratic China people. So you can actually see the masses in Hong Kong have, or the pro-democracy masses in Hong Kong have overthrown the elites, because now basically the pan-democrats are turning more and more localist.
And also because there's a change of people's preferences over, you know, the traditional media or the, you know, the newer medias.
Yeah, yeah.
People are just tired. The people are just tired of, you know, like TVB or just all these rubbish shows and self-censored news. So people are switching. People are, if you want to know the truth, the facts, you have to risk yourself. You have to go into the cyber world. You have to find out yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can just put up this pic. Operator, can you please show pic 8? Now, the reason why we, well, yeah, here's Trump. Trump's come under pressure for using social media, and people, and or actually, you know, social media is, well, it's. You know, what he relies on, I guess.
Have you been following all these broadcasts during the US presidential election?
No, I didn't pay attention until...
It's like every time CNN guys, the CBS guys, even the ABCs are asking Trump's questions, it's like always trying to frame him. It's like trying to get him into some really unfavorable position. And that's why he said, you guys...
Well, it was obvious that he was a populist from the beginning, I guess, and so the elites, you know, tried to stop him, but I guess they failed. Okay, I think we better stop there. We're overrun. We'll be back with a second.
可以收埋張圖啦，唔該。
Right. Yeah, see ya. We'll be back soon.
經錯過我哋精彩嘅節目，而家上嚟呢個網址就可以訂閱晒我哋八大頻道，付費之後仲可以重溫晒所有精彩嘅節目。記得要訂閱我哋嘅 YouTube channel 同埋讚好我哋嘅 Facebook 專頁啊！